Welcome, my dear friends. I'm going to share with you some observations that I've made today that have to do with me understanding how to better love myself, accept myself, and love myself. One of the things that I tend to criticize myself for is my quote unquote lack of discipline. And by that, I mean what that looks like is a lack of a regular structure. Like my day doesn't look the same from day to day, and from morning to night, from day to day, week to week. Many people have a lot more structure in their lives, and that is then equated to self-discipline, and it's equated to getting desirable results. Success comes from self-discipline. That is a pretty basic tenet and belief, and I don't disagree with it totally, but I do take issue with the concept that it ought to be universal, and that we should all kind of, our lives should look the same. That in and of itself just simply doesn't ring true. But it is tough. It is tough because in this world that we are currently living in, there is certainly huge truth to the systems that we have created. Respect, honor, encourage strictness, discipline, and logic, much more so than creativity and chaos and flexibility. The reality is that, okay, I'm gonna use this word, God, source, power, that which is beyond, which we do not understand, the great mystery. Use that, find that meaning wherever you it makes sense for you. Okay? And if it only makes sense to you to look at the natural world, then by all means. Because it is out of chaos that new order arises. So it is out of chaos, out of uncertainty, out of a need, out of change, that something new comes into existence. So there is tremendous creative potential within chaos that then leads to ever increasing amounts of order, which then ultimately falls into disorder, only to be reordered again. And this is the natural pattern. So for myself, part of learning to love myself is saying, it's humanity in particular, although nature does this too. But I think humanity has a desire, like a need, to create ever increasing amounts of order, control. Part of why we find ourselves as a human society at such an incredibly difficult time right now is because humanity has attempted to control nature and to control our environment and to to build buildings, to build systems, to build food systems, so that we can control everything about our lives. It's part of why we use so many chemicals, is because chemicals control nature, and make it conform to what's comfortable and easy for humanity. But ultimately, this is not to our benefit. It's to our short-term benefit, but not our long-term benefit. So I'm receiving revelations about what this looks like in my own life and how I can better accept the lack of structure and utilize it to be more creative. And it doesn't mean that my life should continue to remain unstructured, but to encourage myself to, within the creation of more structure and discipline in my life, to be creative and to always stay in touch with my core, my essence, my being, my heart, my desires, not my biological desires, not my not greed or pride or ego, not those kinds of needs and desires. Not that I shouldn't be aware of them, but I don't want to be controlled by them. And in this time of transition, to know that I am becoming more and more in touch with my beingness, so that whatever experience I create into the future is based on not what I have come to believe I should be, or I should do, or I should want, but having let all of that go and dissolve, to be true to myself in an ever increasing way, and allowing my life to develop and change and grow and to be flexible, so that I am not attached to any one belief, behavior, habit, so that I can, in fact, experience a greater freedom and joy in my life and in living my life than I ever have before. Believing and trusting that that doesn't come from my ego or from my habits, but it comes from being in the moment and being and enjoying, embracing whatever that moment holds for me, and not having to control it in order to be happy. And this is my goal. And this is how today I am learning to love being me, to love myself, and love myself some more, which I wish also for you, my friend, this day and always. Until we meet again, Namaste.